Hey friends! Welcome to Flosstube number 2.5. This is a bonus video. I'm Lisa, otherwise known as Little Annie Z. I am one half of Little Annie Z and Mama Z. I'm missing my mom this morning. I am in my home studio and trying to figure out a new way of uploading a video. So I didn't want to transport everything over to her studio. So I'm flying solo today. She said she didn't mind if I did a test run and do a bonus video for you. So that's why I am on my own today. So I have a lot to show you in the way of haul that I've accumulated over probably the last month, and I thought, why not share with you some haul bonus tips, haul on a budget tips. I am struggling with allergies this morning, so you'll have to excuse me if I start sneezing or rubbing my eyes or something like that. But thank you for everybody who has subscribed since our last video. It's so much fun reading your comments and interacting with the stitching community. And we did get a shout out, and just wanted to thank Betty over at Created to Create BH. Betty shouted my mom and I out. So thanks, Betty. And just to give you an idea of what I've got for you today, I don't have any previous finishes. Like I said, haul on a budget. I'm going to talk a little bit about preserving memories, and I have some finishes and I have some WIPS to show you. Not too many WIPS, but I'm going to, any mentions, I'm going to try to link them down below. So just a couple life updates for you. We went camping since we filmed our last Flosstube, and it was another rainy camping trip. And I'll show you what my husband was up to, because he made me a couple things. And I got a lot of stitching in. We had a honey harvest. I mentioned in our last Flosstube that we probably will be harvesting honey. I think actually on that day that we filmed, that weekend, my husband harvested some honey. So we got a 5-gallon bucket full of honey, and I don't know how many pounds that equates to. I want to say probably 80 pounds, I would venture to guess. And then coming up, which you'll hear more about when my mom and I get back together, we have a gender reveal coming up. So we'll tell you more about who that is. All right, so let's jump in to finishes. So you'll see behind me, I just finished it's pumpkin picking day by the housewives. And let's see if I can get a close-up of the stitching for you. So I finished this on 14 count charcoal black Aida, and most of the called for Classic Colorworks threads. I had to substitute the Weeks Dye Works pumpkin because it just escaped me. I didn't catch it when I was ordering the threads, and I read it in my mind as Pumpkin Harvest Classic Colorworks, which I had, but it's very close to the chili pepper that is called for the headlights. So what I did was I combined 3 different threads for the headlights, and so you can tell, I don't know if you could tell a difference on the camera, but anyway, I used the chili pepper that was called for, and licorice red and also the DMC 720. Here I used the DMC 720 and the Pumpkin Harvest from Classic Colorworks. So I got this. This is part of what I wanted to share with you as far as haul on a budget. I am pretty sure this is the basket that Priscilla used to finish her pumpkin picking day, and that she's going to be using for back up the truck. I'm going to be jotting down some things as I think of it. Excuse me one moment. Hold please, as they say. Okay, so I was at an antique mall with my daughter and saw the basket, and it was less than half of what it would have cost me at Hobby Lobby. So I grabbed it, and I was so excited. And most of the materials for this basket I got at Walmart. My mom said in the last Flosstube that Walmart is a treasure trove, and it's very true. I got this burlap ribbon at Walmart for about $1 less a spool than Hobby Lobby. All the filler, I've got this Spanish moss and the raffia. I bought a pack each of that just to fill the basket, to have something that my picks can actually, something that it will catch onto. So these are short picks and this basket is long, so I needed something to keep them in place. But the cotton pick with the fall burlap leaf and the pumpkin with the little white berries and the, I guess, I don't know if this is like an olive. It looks like an olive to me. But those are two different picks. I found something I fell in love with at Hobby Lobby that was about $20 a stem. Well, I got each of these picks, there's 5 of them in here, for 97 cents each at Walmart. Another idea that I got from Danielle at Love and Stitchin', and Danielle, I'm sorry if I'm saying your YouTube channel wrong. I'll link it down below. But she gave me this idea, and I loved it. To save on having to keep covering a piece of foam core for your stitches, you know, to have a second piece behind your main stitched piece, she hot glued hers to her piece, and then she just switches out with the magnet on the back. So that's what I'm deciding to do with this, because this Back Up the Truck series is going to be a new piece around each holiday, if I understand right. So I'm really excited about this finish, and I'm glad I had it done to share with you guys and to give you those tips that that I learned along the way and my discounted finds. So that hangs on my fireplace. I posted that on, actually I didn't post the full finished piece on Instagram because I wanted to show it on Flosstube first. So I'll probably post what it looks like on my fireplace after this Flosstube video. All right, and then I have a couple more finishes to show you. This is my bee skep. See if I can get it so it doesn't glare. This is let me show you. This is the pumpkin picking day model. I forgot to show that with this piece back here. So this is Blackbird Designs, the Agnes Platt Strawberry Sampler Loose Feathers Spring 2013 book. The bee skep is up here shown in a red frame. This is the one that I said I was going to finish for my husband's birthday. So this was my 50th birthday purchase. I purchased this with my mom when we went up to the Pickens Mercantile, one of our local LNS's, local needlework shops. I changed it a little bit because it's on Aida, so it's 14 count Aida, taupe Aida by Fabric Flair. And let me see if I can get it so it's not glaring. So a couple things I had to change in this was I had to cut my house short by 1 row on each side because I just miscalculated in my border. I did my border first. I didn't do the satin stitches for the beehive. I just did regular cross stitch. Let's see, I think everything else is the called for colors, DMC, and I had his initials up here and my first initial is here. I did French knots to indicate the bees. I didn't do the specialty stitches for the bees, and I let him choose where he wanted his bees. And he was so cute. He was like, I want one flying this way, one flying this way. I was like, they're just gonna be knots. So, and then the star, I love the color of the star because that's almost the exact same color of his eyes, which I thought was really neat. So his birthday is coming up, and so he loves handmade things, and so he was excited that this was for him. So, you know, a lot of people are giving their condolences to the stitching community and Alma for Barb's passing, and I am so new to the community, but I can see why she was so beloved. And so yes, like everyone else is saying, it's such a loss. And I just love the designs. So this was my first one. All right, so moving on from here, I have my French general quilt finished. It's 36 inches square, so it's a small quilt. And the backing is just an off-white, and I just did a simple straight line quilting in quadrants on this. This is the Jelly Roll Jam pattern that's free on Fat Quarter Shop. So that was another one of my tips. If you're not aware, most people are, but Fat Quarter Shop has tons of free patterns on their website. So I'm really excited. I loved this fabric so much, and I display it on my bed now. And then I had some charm packs. So I made that quilt with the jelly roll, and then I had some charm packs that I decided to make envelope pillow covers. So these aren't quilted, they're just patchwork. And I used a half square triangle ruler that I'm going to show you in my haul portion. And so it has the envelope on the back, and I left the selvage on the back because I love the selvage. Is so pretty. So I just left that on the fabric. And then this is the other pillow. So I made it smaller than I thought it was going to be because I really wanted it to look full. So I squished you could see the pillow, my throw pillow. back there, and so I really love how these turned out. So they go on my bed as well. And then my last finish was a free pattern on the DMC website. The DMC website has tons of free patterns for knitters, crafters, embroiderers, lots of embroidery. This is my Merry Christmas sampler. I did it in all red on, I believe it was 14 count antique white by Fabric Flair. I found this frame, it's actually a shadow box, when I was antiquing with my daughter and found that basket. So I thought it looked cute. I was thinking of just having a white frame, but I found this and thought it was perfect. I love the color combination actually. So that is my finish. It is 2 threads of DMC number 817. Okay, let's see what I have next. All right, let me show you my WIPs. I only have 2. My first one is Calendar Crates, September Calendar Crates. And I just started this week. This is what it looks like by the Housewives. By the way, I have this already displayed and it's just gonna stay on my fireplace. I know it looks so fallish, but I love it so much that it's just gonna stay there. Okay, so I keep this in my new bag, my new project bag. I didn't make this. I got this on Etsy from Jordan, Jordan's Handmade. I'll link her shop. I love that fabric. I love the coffee. I love all the fall sayings. I love all the fall colors. And this cute little blue tassel. I love the blue and the orange combination for fall. So she also had in the bag when I received it a little thank you with a needle minder and a needle threader. So I thought that was very sweet. So I'm stitching this on, I got the kit that comes all together. So you get a really pretty good price break when you buy the kits on Fat Quarter Shop. And I think that's another good tip is if you're going to buy everything separately anyway, go ahead, you know, my advice is to get the kit, even if you're not going to stitch it up right away. Because for instance, for October, I know they're planning to do a Halloween calendar crates, and I'm not going to stitch the Halloween, but I'm going to keep the threads and the fabric. That way I can have that in my stash, so I'm getting that at a discount and able to stash it. So this is my start. This is a coffee cup needle minder that has it's wood, and I got this to go with the coffee fall project bag. 2 different sellers on Etsy. So this one is from the Creative Palace, Whitney at the Creative Palace, and I will link her Etsy shop down below. So that is one of my WIPs, and I'm probably going to be stitching this exclusively until I finish it so that I don't fall behind, and I'll have the September ready to go. And then my other WIP is a very small WIP. It is Where Flowers Bloom by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. This is actually done on a mystery fabric. So I put the fabric on Instagram and had a couple people comment on what they thought it was. And so I did some research and I thought it was called Ada Country French, because from the description on Google it sounded just like my fabric. So this is my fabric. And it's showing up pretty true to color. This is my small start. I just started the border just a little bit. And Suzette from My Needlework on Instagram has a lot of experience in a needlework shop in the past, and she told me it looked like 18 count Davos putty. So I did some research and I purchased, I found some on Etsy so I could do a comparison, and I'll share that with you. I couldn't find this exact color, but this came out when the Prairie School Santas first started being released, and so I think they were being stitched on khaki. So that kind of makes sense to me because that's right about the time that I would imagine my mom picked this fabric up. And she did say it was 18 count. So everything matches up, and I think I solved the mystery. So I think it is 18 count Davos. And it's a little different for me to work on, but because I'm used to working on 14 count. So we'll see how that goes. But so far so good. I'm getting more confident in stitching smaller count fabric. All right, so those are my 2 WIPs. And I wanted to get into haul on a budget. So I want to make sure I'm not forgetting to give credit where credit's due so far in my Flosstube. Okay, so haul on a budget. So I talked about free patterns from really talented designers. That Quarter Shop with the quilting. And I want to show you a free pattern that I learned about from Nell over at, let me get her channel right, Little Yellow House Crafts. So she was stitching a free pattern from Plum Street Samplers, and they are a designer that I've been wanting to try. And so it's the 12 Days of Christmas, and each one, so this is, I'll hold it way back here. So this is what it looks like if you do them all together. This is the layout. You can print out all of the, if you go to the Plum Street Samplers website, they have, or I think it's their blog. If you Google Plum Street Samplers free 12 Days of Christmas, you'll see it. So this is a partridge in a pear tree. So the chart's nice and large, and it only calls for 2 or 3 colors. And Nell is doing hers in red and green and then a metallic gold. And I'm going to do that. I think I might do these as separate little pillows. So anyway, that was a free 12 free patterns that I can work on. So that was awesome. I'm excited about that. What else? Let's see. Okay. I wanted to mention on Amazon, you can search for used books. So I'm going to show you 3 books that I got on Amazon. I have been really interested in learning about the history behind needlework and quilting. So this is actually a brand new book that I got on Amazon. This was about a month or so ago that I got this. It's the Jane Greenoff's 30th year edition. It has patterns in here of her adaptations for historical samplers. I'm learning that there's a difference between adaptation and reproduction, and there is criteria for true reproductions by museum standards. So these are things that I'm learning. And so this is a beautiful book with beautiful patterns, gives history. Really what I want to find to do is a red Bristol sampler. I would love to find one that really resonates with me and to stitch that up, but I mean, for such young girls, and their stitching just amazes me. I need to get a little more practice behind me, I think, before I try. But that's what I will be doing. Is I already did a little 1/1 alphabet sampler that is about this large, and I really enjoyed doing it. So that'll come. All right, so this was my used book that I found on Amazon. It's in really great shape, so you can purchase used books on Amazon. I'm sure a lot of you already know that, but I got this at a really great discount. I think I want to say probably $10 off the price. Patricia Ryan, I found her on YouTube. Somebody was interviewing her, and I am so sorry, I cannot remember. I know she had the word jammies in her YouTube name. I will look it up and link it down below so that you can see the interview with Pat Ryan. But she explains what a true reproduction is by museum standards. So the patterns in this book, the curators at the museum actually specified what thread colors needed to be used and which fabrics to get the exact reproduction of the original sampler, with holes and uneven weaves and everything. There's instructions in this book on how to dye your fabric so it looks like an antique sampler by museum standards. It gives you a lot of don'ts about how to dye your fabric. So this is called Historic Samplers Selected from Museums and Historic Homes. And there's 30 cross-stitch charts for our authentic reproduction. That was hard to get out. So this was really fun to read through for the history alone. Okay, and then the third book that I got, I had been going back and forth with Olivia at Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. Her YouTube channel is so fun. She just blows me away with the quilts that she does. So she had a YouTube video one time I was watching where she was talking about Civil War quilt blocks. Each block, it was a block along or a quilt along, and each block was for a specific pattern. So I asked her about it in a private message, and she gave me the recommendation to look up Barbara Brackman. So this is, I believe, a new book that you can get through the publisher. It's 2020. And this has got blocks and how these women were communicating across the Mason-Dixon line with others, and how that all played out during the Civil War. It is really interesting. So I'm so glad that Olivia told me to look her up, because I was able to find this book on Amazon for a little bit of a discount. So that was awesome too. All right, so those are some of the tips. Let's move on to a couple others that I jotted down. So I've loaded some apps on my phone where I can earn cash rewards. And so if you're shopping somewhere like Michael's, you can earn cash rewards, right? So I realized that, and I have been earning cash rewards at Walgreens for a long time. And they have some really cute decor items too that you can use for finishing. So you can use your cash rewards towards that. I've seen people on Instagram post clearance items at Tractor Supply, and I thought that was such a cute idea too. Okay, I wanted to show you that I've been making my own floss tags. I started out using photo paper cotton to print through my printer, but what I have learned through Stacy the 911 Stitcher on YouTube and Instagram, and it's spelled Nineone, so you spell out 911, that you can actually make your own. So let me show you what I have done. Try not to let everything fall here. Oop. All right. So I got some cardstock at Hobby Lobby. I was so surprised. It had been a long time since I've been doing paper crafting, but the price, I got this at 50% off at Hobby Lobby, so you can check the ads. I have a list. I keep a list, and I column it. So things that I can get at Hobby Lobby, things that I want to get at Fat Quarter Shop. Fat Quarter Shop has flash sales and like discounted percentages from time to time, and I usually will shop according to the ads. So anyway, I got this for fall and Christmas floss drops, and there's some really cute plaids in this, and I made my own by cutting the length and width of the tag that I want, and I picked up this punch at Hobby Lobby, and it's just the top edge. So you cut your rectangle, and then you cut the top edge, and it has a built-in hole punch there to put on your floss ring. Let me see, where is the one that I made? I will show you. And Stacy has a lengthy video on different ways and different types. But this is my floss ring for the ones I'm using for pumpkin, for the September calendar crates. And I just left the color on the back. You can pencil in the color on the back. I just decided to leave the tags on the back. So, so I feel like this has saved me money from purchasing a PDF on Etsy, and printing out on the expensive photo paper. So this was a really good way of getting what I wanted and not spending a lot of money for it. And then I received a great coupon at my local LNS, and that was a kit that I got. I've been wanting to try Cabin Quilt and wool applique. And so I couldn't find a wool applique in my price range, and I came across this log cabin quilt. It's a very small project, and it can be in these different settings, or you can make like a table runner or a bed runner. And it's flannel. It's all pre-cut. It's by Maywood Studios, and I unwrapped it so you can see. So it comes all pre-cut with the instructions on how to piece it, and the flannel goes right through your machine very easily. It's very thin, low loft, not fuzzy, doesn't shed. So I thought, this is awesome. This is a way for me to get used to working with that type of wool flannel material and still be able to do a log cabin quilt. So I got this like half off with my coupon because of cash rewards at the LNS. And then I found this really pretty flannel backing fabric that I'm going to use for that. I fell in love with this color, and it goes really great with this. So this fabric is by, I love the selvage on this, Henry Glass Fabrics. It's called Folk Art Flannel by Janet Ree Nesbitt of One Sister Designs for Henry Glass and Company. This is also, looks like a really thin flannel, and I like that because it's not going to shed in my machine as much as cheap fabric, flannel fabric. So wanted to share that with you. To join your, if they ask you, do you want to join our rewards program? If it doesn't cost anything, sure, get it at a discount. And this is, that was like really good fabric. I was very excited about that. All right. I talked about the online club prices. Etsy shop sales. Okay, so really cool thing I've been noticing is when I'm on Etsy and I like something, I'll heart the item. I'll always heart the shop if it's somebody that I repeatedly purchase from. But I heart the item, and just so that I can find it easier if I'm looking for something in the future. So I have heard back from 3 of the sellers of the items that I favored, and they were giving me coupons for that item. So that's pretty cool and very generous and unexpected. So that is something that you might want to do and see if the sellers will give you a coupon. All right, so a couple more things for haul. I mentioned that I use special rulers to do my patchwork pillow covers. My local LNS had a block lock ruler about this size. Let me see if I can. There you go. And I think it was like $40 for this little ruler. It did help It took some practice and some YouTube videos to figure out how to use it successfully. But I was able to find a 3-pack on Amazon for about the same price of the one small ruler. So check that out. I got a 6.5 inch, a 4.5 inch, and a 2.5 inch. So great deal there on Amazon for that. And then a couple more haul that I wanted to show you. I got my Fabric Flare Smoky Blue Fabric Flare. That's really pretty. Fat Quarter Shop, and they recommend some projects. And then I got the Classic Colorworks Floss Fix. I wanted to take out this floss. I haven't yet, but I noticed there was one in here that was really variegated and I thought was so pretty. Peach Sherbet is really variegated. Look at that. I think that's really pretty. And then there also comes with Tangerine, which is in a lot of the patterns that I'm seeing lately, this tangerine color. I used this in the pumpkin picking day. So wanted to share that with you. And then I'm going to show you my my 18 count dabose that I found. The seller is, I didn't write it down. It's Second Collections, I believe is the name of it, on Etsy. So I'll link that below. Okay, so this is by Zweigart, number 330 beige, and it's a 1/2 yard. I got it at a really good price. I can't remember exactly how much it was, but for a 1/2 yard, I thought, wow, that's pretty good. And then this is the one that my mom gave me. That's a swatch. So it's pretty close. I'm going to use this 18 count. So now I'm getting into my plans with you, slash just a little bit more haul. So this is the beige that I want to use for, oh, and she gave me a swatch of a navy blue. This is more like a cornflower blue. And it's just a little swatch of 17 count. This feels like regular Ada. 17 count, I'm not sure. Never heard of a 17 count, but that's what it's marked as. Oh, no, I have a few more haul. Okay. I'm going to hold out that beige dabose for a second. I picked up this junior jelly roll at my LNS solids. I like the look of how the French General quilt looks without any background fabric. But if I wanted to add in some background fabric, I got solid jelly rolls. I love working with pre-cuts. I find that it's just so much more enjoyable for me to quilt using pre-cuts. So I picked that up. Junior jelly roll just means it's half of the amount of strips than a regular jelly roll. So there's 20. And then I picked up some pom-pom trim from Hobby Lobby. I was watching Primrose Cottage. They did a tutorial on finishing a pillow using this trim, and the reason why they like it is because it's flat and it gives you a lot of room to sew. So the pom-poms are flatter, and it gives you a lot of room to stitch it. So it's less fiddly to work with, and easily sewn on to your project. So I got off-white and white for finishing pillows, and when I get around to finishing pillows. All right, and then I picked up, first let me show you what my husband was up to on the rainy camping days and what I decided to use these for. He was making these cute wire baskets. So it's just some screen from the hardware store, and then he used some copper wire to keep the corners together. So he made this this size, and then a little bit bigger one. So I've been collecting white threads and putting them aside, just mostly because I love the look of all the different shades of whites. So I have all of my whites in this one, and then all of my blacks and charcoals in this one. So that's what I'm using them for. So just a cute little wire basket. I love it. So I picked up at Hobby Lobby these cute buttons, which are cookie cutters. Aren't they adorable for finishing cross-stitch projects? And then I want to just get into my plans with you. So one of my plans is to do the eyelet alphabet in this sampler from Blackbird Designs. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. Yeah, here, this is a better picture of it right here. So this light blue alphabet up here, I believe, is all eyelet. All eyelets. I want to try that. So I think I'm going to use some linen that I bought to do my mini 1/1 alphabet. I think that yellow creamy color and that light powder blue is going to be pretty together. So that's one of my plans that I will do eventually. Another one of my plans, I shared this in my last video with my mom, is to do the December trucking along at the bottom. I love the gingham trees and these light bulbs. Well, when I was walking around at Hobby Lobby, because they have all of their Christmas stuff out now, I found these two button packs. Okay, one of them has gingham trees and the truck with the tree in it. So I thought, how cute would that be to finish that cross stitch with that on it? And then the light bulbs. Now these have little holes in the top, and I thought what I would do is take some jute and string the lights just like the pattern has the lights strung. I thought I would do that on the frame with these buttons. I love them. They're so cute. And then last but not least, I want to share a personal memory preserving moment, if you will. So when my kids were little, I was keeping scrapbooks and doing a lot of scrapbooking. And as they got older and I began to work during the summers when they were home, I would make them do their own scrapbooks. And I honestly had so many pictures that having them do their own scrapbooks was not only enjoyable for them, in the beginning. After a while, they were like, we're just so bored of doing this. But they really enjoyed it. But I still have so many pictures that I have yet to put in scrapbooks, and I think they're just gonna stay loose. I just kind of stuck them in their scrapbooks. I have a couple scrapbooks for each of them, and I have a memory of them in the wintertime sitting around the table. This is one of my memories, of course. There's so many. But they were sitting around the table with their friends having hot cocoa after they were building a snowman on a snow day. I worked within the school system a couple years when they were in school, elementary school, and so I was able to be off when they were off. And so this was a favorite memory of mine of them. I'll share the picture with you. My kids, mind you, are 26 and 24. But here, this is my now 26-year-old daughter and my now 24-year-old son. This little guy right here now has a beard. It just blows me away. So this is them sitting in my kitchen with their friends having hot cocoa after playing with the dog in the yard and building snowman. And so I was walking around Hobby Lobby when I was finding those other buttons, and I came across these. And I had to get it. The little girl, the little boy, the hot cocoa, the snowman, and the dog. Y'all, I can just cry. I was like jumping for joy in my mind at Hobby Lobby when I saw these. So my plan is to use my new dabose that I bought to stitch up the vintage Christmas sampler, dedicate this to my kids. Instead of these little round buttons, I'm going to incorporate these buttons into the sampler. I'm going to put their initials in the sampler, and then I'm also going to finish it in such a way that I can take the sampler out if I wanted to and stitch in the initials of any grandchildren I might have. So if the Lord blesses us in that way, that's what I plan to do with this long term. So I will end with that. Don't forget to go to the Flosstube number 2 to enter the Christmas in July giveaway we have over there. And thank you for joining me today. I'll be back with my mom in a couple weeks. Probably back in her studio. So if you are watching this now, yay, the upload worked and my experiment worked. So I hope you all have a wonderful week, and thanks for watching. Bye.